Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. My name is Ahmed Nader and tonight we are going to focus on the development in the Sinai Peninsula, and more specifically the Egyptian government has allocated about 17 billion Egyptian pounds to be developing about 360 development projects in Sinai for the upcoming years. But we will be starting straight away with the top stories for today, and they come through the presidential activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who had received cables of congratulations from Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and state officials on the occasion marking New Year's celebrations. In the message, Madbouli expressed his congratulations and the sincere wishes to President al-Sisi, praying to God to bless his efforts and guide his steps to complete the process of work and comprehensive development to build the new republic. In the same context, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Councillor Hanafi Gebeli, sent a greeting cable to President al-Sisi expressing his sincere best wishes for the new year. Moreover, the Minister of Interior, Mahmoud Tawfiq, also sent a greeting cable to President al-Sisi marking the new year, expressing his sincere wishes for peace and prosperity to prevail in Egypt and wishing success for the President in his efforts to achieve the national targets. Heading to the other item of the top stories for today, as the head of the State Information Service, Diya Rashwan, stated that what was circulated during the previous days about the Egyptian efforts to resolve the current conflict in Gaza and stop the Israeli aggression against it is summarized as follows. Egypt has already put forward the framework for a proposal to try to bring the viewpoints closer between all the concerned parties in an effort to stop the Palestinian bloodshed, stop the aggression against the Gaza Strip, and restore peace and stability to the region. This framework was drafted after Egypt listened to the views of all the parties concerned with this framework. The proposal includes 3 successive and linked stages, ending with a ceasefire. Everything related to the issue of the Palestinian government is purely Palestinian issue and is the subject of discussion among all the Palestinian parties. Egypt confirmed that it has not yet received any responses to the proposed framework from any of the concerned parties. And finally, upon receipt of the responses from the concerned parties, the proposal will be elaborated in detail and will be announced in full to the Egyptian, Arab, and the international public opinion. At the end of the statements, Head of State Information Service called on all the media outlets to be precise in dealing with everything related to the Egyptian proposal. And we will be starting straight away the episode and the main topic for tonight. As I mentioned, that tonight we will be focusing on the development of Sinai, the Sinai Peninsula, as about 17 billion Egyptian pounds were allocated to be developing about 360 projects in Sinai, developing every inch of the Sinai Peninsula. And we will be having more details regarding this topic in the upcoming report. Stay tuned.
Egypt's government has allocated 363 billion Egyptian pounds to complete the second stage of development in the governorate of North Sinai. The allocation of funds will primarily focus on the service sector, which will receive 55% of the government's investments. The construction sector will receive 10.5% of the allocated funds, while agriculture and land reclamation schemes will get 6.4%. The first stage of development in North Sinai saw more than 600 billion Egyptian pounds invested since 2014. The focus of the initial stage was on infrastructure projects, which enhanced the region's appeal for investments. In addition, 11 housing communities costing over 4 billion Egyptian pounds were constructed in North Sinai, providing public utilities to over 17,000 housing units. Prior to the recent developments, the projects implemented between 1982 and 2014 were limited to the construction of the Ahmad Hamdi Tunnel and Al Salam and Al Firdan bridges, which connected Sinai with the Suez Canal region. The Ministry of Planning and Economic Development has issued a report on the features of the Citizens Investment Plan for North Sinai and South Sinai for 2022-2023. Hala Said, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, said that the Sustainable Development Plan for the fiscal year 2022-2023 pays special attention to spatial policies and programs aimed at achieving convergence in living standards and incomes between regions by addressing existing development gaps and advancing development efforts in accordance with the components, characteristics, and priorities of each region. In this regard, the efforts of spatial development were aimed at achieving integrated rural development to narrow the income gap and limit migration flows to urban areas, and to give high priority to the development of the Sinai Peninsula and the governorates of Upper Egypt within the framework of a coherent and integrated development program, in addition to giving a strong development impetus to the promising areas in the governorates to take advantage of existing opportunities and provide more job opportunities for young people.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I am honored to be having with me in the studio for tonight Engineer Hassan Shaaban, the political analyst and the Vice Chairman of the Farmers Syndicate, former Vice Chairman of the Farmers Syndicate. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate, Engineer Hassan Shaaban. First of all, of course, we know the main topic for tonight, and of course one of the main goals and targets of the Egyptian government under the political leadership of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is to be developing Sinai in general, North Sinai and South Sinai. And of course, North Sinai in specific, as it needs more population to be inhabiting the area there. How would you see the importance, first of all, of the geographical position of Sinai for Egypt and for the rest of the region and the world?
You see, Sinai is the center of gravity for the whole area. When you look at it geographically, it actually is located right in the center of the Middle East. I mean, it divides the Middle East to two parts, east and west, and it's right in the middle. This is a very strategic location.
Yes.
And, you know, it's a pathway from the east to the west and vice versa. So I think Sinai in the near future we will have to pay a lot of attention to Sinai, use it to relocate and redistribute a lot of the massive population that we have in Delta and the Valley to Sinai.
Yes.
In order to do this, we need to actually work in several aspects. To start with, actually, it's a good starting point if we start with the Bardawil Lake. Bardawil Lake lies on the west of Sinai. And Bardawil Lake used to be very famous in producing a very special and very, species of fish.
Yes.
And all of it was at what time used to be exported to markets in Europe, especially the French market, the Mias and Denis species.
Yes.
The lake actually was neglected for some time. I think the government is paying a lot of attention right now to this lake, deepening the lake, dredging the lake, allowing or connecting the lake to the Mediterranean again, to allow the Mediterranean to get into the lake, because actually the lake was, there was a lot of sedimentation in the mouth of the lake. So actually, it was a very calm lake, and it was not suitable for large fish, to be inhabited in the.
Yes.
So I think the government could develop the Bardawi Lake in a very scientific way. There is a lot of means to do so. I think also a lot of industries could be established in the area. I think we require a large tuna fish factory, because it happens that the area east to Damietta, all the way to the north, is very rich with tuna fish, and this is something that a lot of Egyptians do not really know. But
Yes.
we have excellent types of tuna in this area, and I think if we develop, this area and establish a factory to produce Egyptian tuna, this will fill a gap right now, because we import a lot of tuna fish from abroad, canned. And I think a large ice factory could be useful in this particular area. Once you develop the Bardawi Lake, this will attract a lot of population. Also, next to the Bardawi Lake, we need to develop the salt production industry, because Sinai could be a leading area in the production of salt. Salt is very much like oil, actually, the crude oil. You actually can produce a lot of material components out of the salt, the raw salt. One of the main materials that we should actually produce is bromine. Bromine is a material that is used in tranquilizers. Very few countries around the world actually produce bromine, and we need to produce this to get into the medicine products industry.
Yes.
Also, hopefully, the new tunnels under the Suez Canal will be able to transfer some of the treated water, as well as the Nile water through the Peace Canal to the Sinai, and we need to grow a large area of a plant called stevia. This plant actually will be used as a substance to replace sugarcane, or actually fill the gap that actually we suffer from right now by importing sugar from abroad. The stevia is a material that could be used in soda pop and in desserts and so forth, and it is 300 times sweeter than sugar produced from sugarcane. So if we have a program, and this program actually is will deal only with the crucial elements in the list of materials that we actually import from abroad, this would reduce our need to use the dollar in our payments to these products when we actually import it from abroad. Also, I hope that the experiments that we had in the Desert Institute that follows the Ministry of Agriculture will be actually used, because we could grow a large area in Sinai using a plant called the silicornium,
Yes.
which is a plant that belongs to a family called the halophyte. This plant actually grows on salt water directly with no treatment. And the idea is that you actually need to change the face of the desert. And the desert right now is acting like a mirror. Once it gets hot, it actually kicks the clouds outside, and rarely you will have rain in Sinai. But once you use the silicornium plant to cover the face of the earth, this will improve the humidity conditions in Sinai. It will attract clouds, and you will create a man-made climate in Sinai different from what's happening right now. And
Getting more rain.
right.
Yes.
Right. Once you change the face of the desert and from a mirror act to a green area, or an area covered with greenery, you actually could have a large area of meadows, man-made meadows out of this thing, and we can actually have the largest camel farm in the Middle East in Sinai, because camel could actually be fed on the silicornia plant. A lot of ideas actually could be implemented in Sinai. Hopefully that very soon we will see a completely different Sinai.
Yes, Engineer Hassan Shaaban, you've mentioned a couple of important points through answering the first question I would like to focus on, which is the population of Egypt. We need redistribution of the population from the Egyptians to be going more into Sinai, to be inhabiting North Sinai and South Sinai, to be getting involved in all those projects and all those fields in Sinai itself. There are two main aspects of this idea. One of them is the effort of the government to be, I wouldn't say push the Egyptians to be going there, but to attract. Yes, to be attracting the Egyptians to be living there.
Yes.
How would you see those steps? Is it doing enough, the government, to be attracting and luring the Egyptians to be moving to Sinai permanently and living there and inhabiting the area? On the other hand, how would you see the reception of the Egyptians themselves, especially the ones living in Sharqiyya, Ismailiyya, living close to Sinai,
nearby
just nearby to the tunnels, to be specific. How would you see the reception of this idea and their mentality of such an idea?
Once you create chances for the young people to go to these areas and have simple houses suitable for the areas. I mean, I don't want to use the a definition that our neighbors are settling something very simple houses suitable for young people who are just newly married, and you don't have to have large buildings or anything like that. You need to have areas, and next to it the houses of the youth that will work in these plantations, and part of it will be allocated for the industries that will depend on the type of plants, like the, say, stevia.
Yes.
This is a sugar plant that we will have to have next to it a factory to produce stevia. So you have an industrial activity based on the raw materials produced from the same area. Then this will attract a lot of young people to work over there. I think the government definitely is doing its best in trying to create chances for young people to mobilize from areas like Sharqiyya, Ismailia, Suez, all of these, Kantara, Gharb, all of these areas will definitely be the source of labor
Yes.
for the coming boom in Sinai.
Yes, Engineer Hassan Shaaban, you mentioned also a list of industries, a list of topics and areas that could be done within the peninsula of Sinai. In your opinion, who needs to be listening to those ideas in order to be implementing them on the ground? Is it a certain ministry? Is it the House of Representatives? Who needs to be listening to those lists of things that could be done, ideas that could be implemented?
The Ministry of Industry, this is number one.
Yes.
To coordinate it with the organization in charge of investments, foreign investments, or even private investors.
Yes.
We need to encourage, whether it's foreign investors or local investors, to work in Sinai, because there is a lot of chances, as I said, the bromine that will be produced from the salt that will be, taken. I would like to see a wharf or a setup in Sinai.
Yes.
As a port like Jabal Ali, but inside toward the Kantara, east of Kantara.
Yes.
All of this will actually create a lot of chances for people to go and work in these areas. I think also you need to consider allowing the international banks and so forth to mobilize to Sinai as a free zone.
Yes.
Once you create an Egyptian Wall Street, attract international banks and give them privileges, this will actually change the whole area. This is a defense wall against anything. Money is stronger than anything.
Yes. It needs to be protected.
Right. Money will protect Sinai, because if you attract all of these international banks to come and mobilize to Sinai, Sinai as a free zone could, play a major role in the area.
Yes, we will be heading to the other report of the daily debate for tonight, which focuses on the efforts of the Ministry of Tourism and, of course, the whole cabinet under the leadership of Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli and the leadership of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi for the project of the Grand Transfiguration in Sinai, of course, which will be attracting millions of visitors on a yearly basis in the upcoming years. So we'll be having more details regarding this project in the upcoming reports. Stay tuned.
The Great Transfiguration Development Project, which is being carried out upon directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, falls within the framework of a plan to develop St. Catherine's City and place it in its proper status through maximizing the benefit from its tourist attractions as well as rich archaeological and religious heritage. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli highlighted the great significance which the state attached to South Sinai's tourism and service projects and to the development of the tourism sector and promoting services in tourist cities and destinations, especially Sinai. The blueprint of the Transfiguration project entails turning the site into a spiritual spot comprising the mountains located in the environs of the Sacred Valley, as the project aims to create a global destination for spiritual and medical tourism. The project will provide multiple tourism and entertainment services for visitors in line with preserving the unique status of the iconic site. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi stressed the need to pay attention to all the details of the Great Transfiguration project in St. Catherine's, Sinai, so that this unique spot becomes a global destination for visitors from all over the world. President el-Sisi ordered continuing the implementation of this integrated project, which takes into account global environmental sustainability standards, preserves the architectural heritage, and enhances the spiritual value of the area as a meeting point of religions and a land for peace. The project, first announced in 2020, seeks to turn this sacred mountainous area in St. Catherine into a spiritual destination for medical and environmental tourism.
Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I am honored to be having with me in the studio tonight Engineer Hassan Shaaban, the political analyst and the former vice chairman of the Farmers Syndicate. Engineer Hassan Shaaban, of course, before wrapping up this episode, I would like to ask you more about the details of the industry of salt, the potential of this industry in the Sinai Peninsula. How do you see it?
Some time ago, before the 1967 war, all the empty ships that used to come from Europe all the way going to the Far East used to be loaded with our salt from Port Said and Port Fouad and all this area. Of course, that was changed due to the fact that the Suez Canal was blocked. Japan actually used Australia to produce salt, the required salt in Australia. But we need to regain our important, location in this market, actually. Salt is definitely very much wanted in Europe, especially in north of Europe, like the Scandinavian countries and so forth. They use it for, to protect the highways from being slippery after rain and so forth. Also, salt is used as a product in cosmetics, actually. A lot of ideas are there, actually. We need to be creative and think outside the box. We don't have to be traditional. We have to find new industries, and this will open new markets for us. I think included in this salt industry, I think we could produce the artemia, which is a small animal that very much like the caviar.
Yes.
But the market for it is in the Far East and in Japan especially. Very expensive. But a lot of ideas, actually. But we need to be creative, as I said, and connect ourselves to the outside market and see what others do require, and we produce that, and not settle for the traditional products that we all used to know.
For all those industries and for all those areas, we need a well-equipped irrigation network.
Yes.
Where do we start, and how much would it cost?
Actually, the greenhouses that the government used to have, they started this program like 3-4 years ago. It could actually help in Sinai because it could, we could actually grow untraditional plants,
yes,
like flour, and use, export all this flour to Europe. We have the excellent climate in Sinai, and I think the water treated in Sinai, the water treatment plant will produce enough water to grow such a plant. Of course, the treated water is more expensive than the natural water. So if you grow flowers, the flowers are expensive. You are selling an expensive product and you are making money to cover your expenses in producing the treated water. You know, it's an equation that need to be solved. That's all.
Yes, and hopefully someone is listening to all those great ideas and be implementing them on the ground as soon as possible.
Hopefully.
Yes, Engineer Hassan Shaaban, the political analyst and the former vice chairman of the Farmers Syndicate, thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight. Thank you for watching and goodbye.